Welcome back to Macro Golf YouTube. Today I'm talking about being fit for golf and your golf fitness, and whether your golf fitness that you currently have is holding you back or being able to take your game to the next level. So from all the players that I've worked with, I quite often see that not being fit for the sport that we're actually playing is often a key determining factor on whether they can actually develop their game and get either to an elite amateur position or into a professional position. For golf, it's very complex because it's such a technical sport. Often the fitness and sport side of it seems to get forgotten. But we're seeing more and more now in elite professionals that being fit to play this sport is such a key factor. So in this video, I'm just going to take you through 4 key principles that I believe that if you get these 4 things right, you are going to be fit enough to play this sport to your best ability. So the first aspect I'm going to talk about is mobility. And I'm going to talk about mobility in terms of general mobility that we need as humans and as athletes, but also the golf specific mobility that is pretty different to any other sport that we play. So there's some fundamental mobility that we need as humans to go through our daily life, to train in the gym, to exercise, to run, to jump, to throw. And I always believe that no matter what sport you play, you need to have this fundamental mobility. So for example, to being able to drop into a deep squat position with your arm above your head, being able to bend over and touch your toes, being able to take your shoulder into full external rotation. These are all pretty fundamental aspects that as humans, we should have access to all of these positions. But what we quite often see is poor training, poor servicing of our bodies, poor posture throughout the day, poor daily habits in terms of being sat down a lot, seems to mean that most of these positions start to become less available to us either as we get older or as injuries start to creep up on us. So you need to be looking after your fundamental mobility and these kind of primary movement and just general human functions that we should be able to go through, and just making sure that you can get access to all of the positions that your body should be able to get access into. And not only do you want to have access to those positions, you want to have control in those positions, and you also want to be strong in all of those positions as well. Now, taking things into a little bit more golf specific, golf is a really interesting sport for this. We've got lots going on at the times that we swing the golf club, and we need specific mobility in specific areas to be able to swing the golf club efficiently and effectively. Now, for example, we need really sufficient internal and external hip rotation, we need good thoracic spine rotation, we need good shoulder mobility, and we might need more access to some of these positions than if we were to play a sport, for example, like football. So it's important that we understand the sport that we're playing, and golf is a rotational sport. So we might just need access to a little bit more to some of those rotational capacities. But again, we need to have access and own those positions and also be strong in those positions as well. So in terms of our mobility and making ourselves golf fit, we need to be able to assess this golf specific mobility. So there's a TPI screening that I recommend that all golfers get, which will basically take you through all of your golf specific mobility you need and also your generic mobility as well. And what I'll do is I'll tag up my video of me discussing the TPI screening and giving my honest review of the screening. And also in there, you can have the opportunity to book your screening if you've never had one, and also have some tools in there to understand a little bit about how that works. But what I'll also do is I'll tag underneath this in the comments a free downloadable golf mobility guide that you can download and do your mobility assessment from home. So make sure you assess your mobility, work on your mobility. That needs to be generic to general human movement, but also golf specific in terms of rotational aspects and extra positions we need to get our body into to play the sport. Number 2 is strength. Now, I believe that all of us should be working on our strength, no matter what age, no matter what sport, no matter what our background. All of us should at all times be trying to get stronger. Now, there's many advantages of getting stronger, but for golfers, there's a huge advantage that will cover you in many different areas of the game. Foundational strength is going to form a good basis of your golf swing. And that's before we even start talking about aspects of adding swing speed and adding more power into our swing. What we also see in an increase of strength is also an increase in resilience to the movement that we're putting our body through. So we can actually build more resilience to the golf swing, which will reduce our chance of getting injured, improve the amount of time that we can practice for, and also allow us to train harder in these positions. So when we combine the mobility as step number 1 and the strength as step number 2, we start to build a mobile, stable, solid, strong foundational frame that we can get a lot of practice, a lot of play, and a lot of training in on that body. We know the more we can practice, the more we can train, the more we can play, the better player we're going to be. So once we've got those first 2 aspects nailed in, we can start to take ourselves into stage 3, which is working on your power. Now, there's many different ways we can do this. We can make this very, very golf specific, and we can also make this non-golf specific. But either way, we need to be working on some kind of rate of force development and power production. Making it non-golf specific, we might be looking at things like box jumps or power movements, but actually just swinging your golf club as hard as you can will also develop your power. For me, I'm a big fan of doing some work in the gym of developing power, but I can't emphasize enough the benefit of just picking up your club and swinging it as hard as you can. You're going to start to tailor in all of those mobility, strength and power gains and actually put it directly into the golf swing where you're going to see the difference in your game. This works on a similar basis to the speed sticks and other concepts that are out there, but ideally we're just taking the golf club, swinging it as fast and as hard as we can, and ideally we also get some instant feedback from a speed radar. We can actually see some pretty quick increases in working through our power this way, but the work you're doing in your mobility and your strength will give you more long-term sustainable results. And now we get to number 4, and for some of you this will be the most important one. We're now actually talking about your fitness and your fitness for playing a round of golf. So all of those first 3 things will serve you very, very well, maybe on the driving range or maybe for 9 holes, but we play a game that can last 3, 4, 5 hours, and we need to make sure that we are fit enough and resilient enough to the movement that we can play this game for 5 hours. So this means we need to be able to walk, we need to be able to carry, and we need to be able to swing for a full 5-hour period. Now the best part about this is the way that you're going to improve your fitness in this aspect. Simply play more golf. The more golf you can play, the more 18 holes you can play, the more 18 holes you can play while carrying your bag, the fitter you will become to that movement, the fitter you'll become to be playing golf. But the aspects of mobility and strength will really help you on this journey as well, because the more mobile we are, the less strain we need to put through our body, the less fatigue we'll experience, the stronger we are, the easier we're going to find climbing the hills, swinging the club. All of those aspects will become so much easier for us. So although we're trying to play as much as we can, we want to have that foundation of strength and that foundation of mobility to make swinging of the golf club and the walking that much easier. So I like to encompass being golf fit into 4 main aspects in terms of our mobility, our strength, our power and our general fitness. If you make sure that you hit all 4 of these aspects, I can pretty much guarantee you will notice a difference in your game. You'll be hitting the ball further, you'll be swinging the club better, and you won't be ruining your card come hole 15, 16 or 17. Becoming golf fit could be what you need to finally start shooting the numbers you want to shoot. If you want any help with any of these aspects, I'll put all of my details below of all the options you've got for working with me on working on your golf fitness. But there's plenty of free content here on my YouTube channel, over on my Instagram, and I'll tag all of that below as well. So next time you're watching the golf, think about the player that you're watching. Are they fitter? Are they stronger? Are they more mobile than you? And if they are, that might be where you can start to make up some of the ground.